Hey there everybody, so DayZ 1.0 is out, and the vehicles I've found to be quite challenging. They're very finicky. So I haven't been able to find a video about how they work on 1.0 or any information about it, just for the beta. So I figured I would throw this up there because I've gone through a lot of trial and error trying to get these vehicles to work, as they are pretty rare and they are very complicated to get working. Alright, so let's dive into this. First thing you want to do is you want to take your car radiator, attach it on in there. Now, what I've found is you don't have to fill the radiator to top. Like, it'll eventually cut you off when you've hit the cap. And it normally caps off at 6 canteens or at 1 gas canister filled with water. So, the thing is, when you don't fill it up, if you don't fill it up all the way, it begins smoking and you'll actually break the transmission. The car will die within maybe a minute of driving it. So, if you do not have water in that radiator, that car will be totaled very fast. So make sure you fill it up, and as you'll see here in a minute, it'll actually cut you off once that radiator's filled. First thing you want to do is get that radiator in there. Now, a big thing about the radiator, the first time I got this car going, or not this car, but a car, I drove it to a military base, something like that, and, you know, I took the radiator out because, you know, I didn't want anybody driving off with the car. But it turns out, when you remove that radiator, it resets the water that's in it. So if you don't have 6 canteens or a gas canister filled with water on you or in the car, you're basically screwed. You got to take a water bottle, canteens, whatever. You got to find a lake and pour some water in it. So make sure you don't take that out. Take out the spark plug, take out the battery, take out whatever else you need to take out. But don't remove that radiator, because I found that out the hard way. So anyways, you get your wheels on there, and you're able to get this motor oil. And it basically kind of works how the water works in the radiator. You take it over here, you refill it in the engine. Another thing, if you do not put oil in the car, it will also die on you. So make sure that you put oil. And I have done some testing. It caps off at 4 containers of oil before it stops you. And I've filled it with just 3 on one car, and it seemed to run just fine. But I would imagine it's probably optimal for you to put 4 in there, just for, you know, whatever reason. You don't want the car break down on you or whatever. So you'll see here on the 4th canister, it'll actually cut me off and it won't eat the canister. And, you know, another thing I've noticed is this hatchback here is actually the only car that's in the game right now. The trucks are not in the game. The buses are not in the game. Although you can find items for the V3S, the truck, stuff like that. Unfortunately, the trucks don't work. You know, I spawned one in just, you know, for science. And, okay, so right there, it cut me off. It doesn't even let you fill. So that's how you know when you're capped off. And it's the same system for the radiator. When you find the car, it'll be empty on gas, so make sure you fill it. You gotta fill it right here. But what I was saying was, you can find items for the V3S and the buses and stuff, but they're not actually in the game. I spawned one in just for science, trying to get it going, and it requires a belt, an engine belt. And I tried to spawn that, but unfortunately that item is broken, and there's actually no way to get it going without mods or whatever. I mean, it's probably possible through mods, but on official servers or wherever else, they are inoperable and they do not spawn. The only thing you can currently get in 1.0 is this hatchback. It works okay, but, you know, obviously it would be better to have a truck because the cargo space on this is not the greatest. But what I have noticed is, if you're looking to carry back big things, you're trying to bring back a barrel to your base. You know, you could fit 1 barrel in there, you could fit loot, whatever, you know. But if you put loot in there and you hop in the car, say you have a barrel in your hand, okay? You get in the car to drive it, the barrel will stay in your hand, and it will let you carry the barrel like that until you get out of the car. Or whatever else, you know, you're trying to carry back to your base. For instance, a generator, anything like that, you know. You just slap it in your hands, and then you get in the car like regular, and it'll keep it in your hands. So that's actually really useful at this stage, because the inventory on this car is not so great. Could be a lot better. But if it's necessary, you got to transport a lot of goods. That's about the best way to do it. Okay, so to to get this fully going, we got the oil, we got the radiator filled with water, blah, blah, blah. Throw the spark plug in there. Gonna need a car battery. Pull up a car battery real quick. Okay, and after that, she should be ready to run. Attach that bad boy in there. Oh, yeah. Okay. And there you have it. The car is on, the car is running. Now, I noticed that the cars are manual now. You have to shift up and down. The thing is, if you shift wrong or you ride first gear too high in the RPMs there, the transmission light will actually come on. And you'll see it. I don't know if I have enough ground to do it right here, but yeah, you have to be careful while driving. Make sure you shift accordingly. If you're off-road, always use 1 and don't go too high in the RPMs. You'll see the transmission light when it comes on. So just make sure the transmission light doesn't come on, you're not shifting too late, and the car should be good up until you crash it. Now, I've crashed a few times, and a few times it's been totaled. The car just instantly ruins, gone. There's other times where it kind of, you know, it survives, but the radiator gets damaged, this and that. But you get the idea. And so far, that's what I've comprised out of cars in DayZ in 1.0. The only thing you're able to get is this hatchback, and it's very finicky to get working. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But you know, you can make it from the coast to the Northwest Airfield 10-15 minutes if you know the way by heart. So it really is a game changer, but you have to be very careful. And there is some client-side lag that goes on, server-side. I don't know whether it's client-side or server-side, but there's definitely some desync that happens. So if you get into the last gear, be careful, because you might get hit with a load lag, and boom, your car will be totaled. It'll be done. It'll despawn. Everything in it will despawn. Probably in 10 minutes on my server. It's been about 10 minutes before it despawns. But you'll know, because when you come up to the car, where it says get in right there, there will be a red dot, and it indicates that the car is ruined right there. You see how there's a green dot right there? When you come up to the car, the dot will be red to indicate that the car is broken. Usually there will be smoke coming out of the hood. For instance, let me show you what happens when you take the car radiator out. So it should reset the water right now. You turn it on. Car starts smoking. You see it like that. Now watch. You start driving it, and that transmission light will come on. And it'll be dead relatively fast. So make sure you don't take out that radiator, because you take that radiator out, you're done. So the transmission light came on there for a second. I was able to get it going. But realistically, yeah, you drive it like that for maybe, I don't know. I think I drove it for like a minute or two before it completely died. The car will die, despawns and everything. You got to find a whole new car. No fun. Considering, you know, when I did this on a real server, it took me hours. In fact, it took me days to get a car going. And you know, I drove off not realizing that you need water in the radiator or whatever else have you. See, light should come on here in a second. Let's see. And just like that. Well, thanks for watching.